Everybody's in the right place. Hello! Welcome to our Monday night stream, A Company of Fools. We don't have any new announcements for today. We finished the charity stream. We actually surpassed our goal of $500 raised for Extra Life. We hit 525, mostly thanks to Justin's generosity of donating the lion's share of that. And because of that, the plan is that on November 7th, when Extra Life has their big day of charity event, we are going to participate by having an all-barred one-shot featuring all the players who make me facepalm so hard that my hand goes through the back of my head. From what I've been told by those members of the Bard Band, their side conversation that I'm not getting to see is so cringy that I may actually die. I hope not. I hope I live through this event. But regardless, I suffer to alleviate the suffering of others, and at your hands. And as you can see, we have a special guest tonight. The Lord Weston of House Weston, who will be played by our beloved misunderstood masochist Stephen, as he takes on the role of the most misogynistic man in all of Oregon. Without further ado, though, let's allow the players to introduce themselves and their characters, and we'll give a quick update about where the game last left off, and see what takes place in the political world of Grovair tonight. Commander?
You're muted, Gaz. Still muted, Stu.
Oh, I didn't push the push to talk. It's been a long day. I'm Stu. I play Gaz, the half-orc Oath of Redemption Paladin, who is the commander of the Legion.
Hey guys, name's John. I play the rogue mastermind known as Broker.
Hi everyone, I'm Dio. I play the arcane trickster, rogue, and artificer Sparks.
I'm Adam. I play Captain Trix, our half-elf warlock of the deep.
Hello everyone, I'm John. I play Captain Preacher, the Unity Cleric for the Legion.
Good evening, everyone. I am Stephen. I am your misunderstood player that needs your sympathy and your support in these trying times. And I will be playing Lord Weston tonight.
When we last left off, the command crew of the Legion had met with both Lady Carmichael and Lord Dolan, and found out some information about both their own history, the history of Grovair, the state of Grovair, and the plans of both of those houses. Since then, they have been trying to determine precisely how they are going to handle the events as they unfold. They've become more and more aware that they are the spark which lit the powder keg that is nobles' houses falling into civil war. It seems that violence may be inevitable, and they have to decide who is going to support them and who they are going to support. I have to stop reading chat while I'm trying to do this. Thank you, Stephen, again. Thank you for the highlighted message that D&D Beyond's overlay needs to be updated. I do need to be reminded of that fairly regularly. I will get right on that. Today, the following day after your meeting with the other two houses, you had attempted to contact House Keaton about meeting with the Archbishop. and were sent a letter stating that he was indisposed for the time being. However, Lord Weston was gracious enough to extend a sunrise on the sea breakfast to all of you aboard his flagship, the Buxom Blonde. As you arrive on the docks and stand before this massive warship, its cannons gleaming in the breaking dawn light, you see the figurehead from which the ship is named, a mermaid that is particularly endowed and encrusted in gold.
The hair or other attributes?
The other attributes. Everything is encrusted in gold. It is a gold figurehead entirely. A gangplank has been lowered with a rolled out carpet in the colors of House Weston. And two, not soldiers, but attendees stand at the bottom of this ramp. Two half-orc attendees. Servants, dressed as servants and awaiting your arrival to escort you aboard the ship.
I will whisper to Gaz, this could go both ways. This could be either him showing you deference or him trying to remind you of how he views you.
How is this anything but the latter?
Is Agrenac with you?
I think, actually, he might be still studying the Sarenrae texts.
That is up to you.
Now that I'm thinking about it. I think he probably would be for... Yeah, I think he would be for this particular meeting because I'm already of rather low opinion of Weston anyway.
How do you feel about your welcome party?
I would try and strike up a conversation with one of the servants.
What are the particular orders given to your servants, Lord Weston, as they await the Legion?
To treat them in the manner befitting a guest of House Weston. So directly to escort them to their quarters until the breakfast, and to do as they are told.
Okay. When you approach one of the servants, what do you say to him, Gaz?
I think I would just try greeting in Orcish at first. Just, good afternoon or beautiful weather, that sort of something conversational.
The half-orc smiles as you speak Orcish to him, and says, in common, welcome, honored guest. Lord Weston prefers the use of common aboard his ship, and so we must honor his request. But it is a pleasure to have you here. May we escort you to your quarters?
Guess would kind of wink and go, well, look, and still in Orcish, well, luckily we're not aboard his ship as yet. And then switch to common, but I can understand it. So how is working for Weston?
What's that?
And ask in common, so how is working for Weston? And kind of a motion with my right foot to kind of gesturing in Sparks' direction. Not for them to catch, but for Sparks to kind of notice.
His response is cordial, diplomatic, and what you would expect of a paid manservant.
Do you want me to roll dice, or are we going through my passive?
For this, we can go through your passive. If I need a roll, I'll ask for one. What is your
Okay.
passive?
20.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's being diplomatic and cordial, and trying not to let anything on, but there's a clear sense that they are treated by their station. They
Yeah,
lead
well, had a protect flag.
they lead you on board, and the ship is huge, right? This is the biggest warship you've ever seen, or any of you have ever seen. Tricks you included. There's not. I don't know that you have like sleeping quarters set aside for them, but there would be like perhaps an area for entertaining guests aboard, perhaps. Would that be fair to say?
So we obviously Lord Weston has his own quarters, which is sizable enough on his own fleet ship
Sure.
that he'd be able to have some guests attended to.
Sure.
It's almost like a mini hall in the hull of the ship.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're taken there. The ship probably has like on the in like the castle of the ship, it probably has rooms for you that are both a bedroom and office, as well as a dining area for like the officers, but that you could also use for guest dining. That's literally like a noble dining room. You could entertain nobility in that room, not just have the officers there when you need it done up in such an occasion as this. And there would probably be like a lounge area as well, where you could entertain guests, sort of like a mini study, where they take the captains and commander of the Legion. It has you've had your ship, your ship's crew has been given orders, and as soon as the Legion is aboard and situated in that room, the ship pulls away from the dock and turns just in the direction that the early morning dawn can be seen from the windows of this room, as you are waiting for Lord Weston to
It's not
arrive.
going. But it's still within like the port of Gravera. It's not like putting out to sea.
It's still in the bay. Yes.
Okay.
It's not putting out to sea. It just pulls into
Giving
the
us
bay
the nice view.
and turns to give you a nice view.
Okay, good.
Lord Weston,
Okay.
how long before you arrive in the or do you have them taken to the dining room to meet you?
So what would happen is I would be already speaking to my officers in a side room, and I'd have them wait in one of the smaller rooms before I have somebody escort them in.
Okay.
But given it's the Navy, would be punctual. So if I said to meet there for a certain time at breakfast, at that time the bells would ring and you would be brought in.
Okay.
He's kind of old fashioned. He's old fashioned that way. Punctuality is very important.
And so right at the dot of your meeting, you are brought in to sit with Lord Weston himself. Do you want to describe what they find as they're escorted into your presence?
Sure, absolutely. So Lord Weston is a kind of got a large paunch. He's got a very large red jacket full of medals, epaulettes, and obviously a very decorative and ornate hat, which he likes to carry everywhere with him. And he's always seen with a kind of a bevy of kind of like maids, quote unquote, who kind of tend to him and treat him for what ails him. And likewise, the core of officers always are behind him, ready to do as he commands.
Quick scan of the core of officers, incidentally. as well as the maids, actually.
What are you looking for?
As in racial makeup, essentially.
All human?
Or gender makeup.
All human. All the officers are male, all the maids are female. Are the maids in attendance, or are they, like, serving, or...
They're dressed up in maids' uniforms.
Okay.
Whether they do much mating is to be seen.
But they're present in this meeting.
They're present in this meeting. They're always present.
I see. Okay.
Phrasing on the mating, by the way.
Are you in the... did you say you were in the dining hall or your personal quarters? I'm sorry.
In the dining hall.
Okay. So you're seated at the head of the table with this core.
Absolutely.
And the core of officers, are they just standing behind you, or are they seated at the table as well?
They're standing behind me, and the two maids are to my left and right directly.
Okay. The officers of the Legion are brought in by the half-orc attendees, and Gaz, you are led to the right-hand seat of Lord Weston, where a honored officer would be sat, as would be military protocol in this situation, followed to your immediate side by the lieutenant commander, and then the rest of your officers as you would have them be seated.
And what's the highest rank among the officers? Of his officers.
Lord Weston, do you have the particular admiral that met them upon entering the city with you, or are these all lower-ranking officers? He does have his own command ship, of course.
Yeah, there would be like a couple of captains, an admiral there, but not that admiral.
Okay. Is the low-ranking officer you sent to their to the meeting that the Legion called, is he present as well? Or
oh God, no.
Okay.
God, no.
That's fine.
Honestly, Des would be a little disappointed at that.
How do you welcome them when they are seated?
So as they're coming, the first person I'll go to, I'll say, Commander Gaz, what? Hello, Commander. Have you ever had the wind in your hair? On a ship?
On a ship? Well, we had to get here at some point. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lord Weston. And I'll take off my gauntlet and extend my hand in greeting.
I'll shake it and I'll look into his eyes and I'll say, well, have you ever had the wind through your hair on the open seas on a beautiful ship as this?
Not as high up as this ship, anyway.
There were
more trading skiffs.
I will then lift my left leg and let wind, and say, "You have now."
An insight check in regards to like that stare in the face, like trying to see any hint of the type of contempt that his admiral had.
24 is the insight check. What does he pick up off of you from your handshake and your look in the eye?
I mean, from a handshake and a look in the eye?
Well, is there a sense of contempt for the fact that he's a half-orc? That's what he's looking for.
With a 24, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
There's a hint of contempt that he is trying to cover with mirthless humor, as he... I'm
not sure about mirthless. He's obviously enjoying the joke himself.
He shook your hand while sitting down, and then he ripped wind in your general direction. So...
And by the way, when the ripping of wind happened, all the officer corps, including the two busty maids, all laughed hilariously while this happened.
That was very honorable military of you, sir. That was me out of character saying that.
Absolutely. Sure. He's also a noble, though, remember?
He is. He is. He's played the game a long time as well, and he is a military officer. But I know that I know where his distinctions lie in this situation. The insight check is going to be the new war cry of the Legion.
Pretty much, yeah.
They're going to rush into battle shouting insight check. Okay. So you all...
Well, while playing the game, it's rather invaluable.
It is. What do all of you think of this man in this situation as you sit down at the table?
Again, not taking us seriously.
He's so happy that she spent her breath weapon before coming here. And she's like, just like usually, just
Stone-faced.
no emotion.
Yeah. Trix, what are you thinking as you are introduced to this fine, upstanding, noble gentleman? What's that?
Is this you said there was a fine, upstanding, noble gentleman. I was curious as to where.
Oh.
Accurate. Broker, what are your thoughts?
As always, Broker's quiet, but he has a poker face. Just trying to read the room.
Okay.
Not taking us seriously, be intentionally trying to provoke us.
But yeah, if you were asking what I looked like, slightly contemptuous, I guess, is a proper face that I would have.
That's accurate, too. I can see that.
Incidentally, are any of the windows open so that we aren't trapped in the room with his wind?
100% no.
I could get rid of that for you, Commander, but
I'm
you probably wouldn't like it.
I'm reasonably sure that wouldn't exactly be constituted as a sea breeze. How about we get some in here for real? Kind of gesture to the window with a polite smile.
So the Weston will smile but back at you and say, "But of course, Commander," and then he'll go serious after breakfast.
Breakfast is served. It is a hearty meal of what kind of what quality of food would you be serving at this breakfast? Is this a noble breakfast?
Top breakfast, so it's kedgeree. So it's kind of it's a very lightly, delicately spiced fish dish with eggs. It's top of the line, good stuff. It's not the stuff like the Marines would eat,
right.
But
it's not the subsistence rations either.
No, not at all.
Okay, so you
And
lay
your
out a
officers
spread.
are not joining us for breakfast? Out of character.
What's that?
The officers that are behind him aren't joining us for breakfast then?
No, they're just standing behind him with the maids.
Okay.
They're like his entourage, right? They're his
100% right.
Yeah.
100% right. Yeah.
Somebody else was going to say something. I'm sorry. Okay. So breakfast is spread out before you. And how does this meeting commence? Who's the first to speak?
I will stand up from my chair, and I will raise a toast, and I will say, "A warm welcome to the Legion, and to the lady, of course."
Thank you for your warm welcome to the Legion, Lord Weston. As well as to the welcome you granted to one particular officer of mine.
Officer? Which one?
Sparks. Her help has been rather invaluable, as have her connections.
Oh, what a novel thing! The Legion accepting women? Since when have they did that? Is that what happened when you went into the desert?
I believe they've accepted women for quite some time, actually.
Was that the reason you went into the desert? And at this, he kind of like gives one of the maids a slap on the bottom, and they start giggling.
Lord Weston, you've been the lord of your house for a long time now, correct?
100%, yes, absolutely.
So you would have been one of the members of the council that voted on the Legion going to the desert. You also would have been one of the council members who voted on them not having any means of communicating with the city while they were there, for political reasons.
Perish the thought. So I'll look to Sparks and I'll say, Miss Sparks. So how do you find yourself in the Legion?
Captain Sparks, and my family has been in the Legion.
Your family's in the Legion. Oh, do tell. Tell me about your family.
There's not much to tell. They already retired, and because of family tradition, I came into the Legion too.
Aha. And are they from Grover?
Originally, yes.
No.
Originally, they may have been. At least your father would have been.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
No.
I see. And I look around the room. So, the Phoenix Legion, what are you doing in the city these days?
Well, aside from addressing the fiendish infestation within the Citadel, we've been, for the most part, just trying to figure out what has changed in the decades since the Legion has left.
Well, you know what they say. Times change and we change with them.
And in what manner has House Weston changed then?
Oh, you know, our fortune has grown. We've had more battles. We've won most of the Well, I say most of the battles. All the battles we've been in. We've hung quite a lot of pirates. You know, the usual.
Character, how old is Lord Weston, and how fat is he?
Oh, like yeah, he's a big man and he's in his 60s.
Okay.
Any visible injuries from wartime?
If he's sitting down and you haven't really seen him move, I mean, not that you can see.
Okay. How close to the end of the meal are we when he's said all this?
Probably closer to the end, I think, if not at the end of the meal.
May we take our refreshments above decks? I would love to see the view from the buxom blonde.
The buxom blonde has many a good view, Commander. And he'll start giggling. And I'll say, how about we have a slight break then? 10 minutes and you can come back down here.
Fair enough.
Will
you not be joining us then?
Alas, matters of state. And he'll smile. I'll have Click and Clack escort you above.
Are those the maids? Or no, those are the orcs, right?
Those are the orcs.
Okay.
Yeah. And as Click is moving out and then Clack is following him, I give Clack a big boot up the arse.
He takes it in stride as if he's used to the treatment, and there is for those of you with high insight, you can see that there's a wince of resentment that he holds down, and just continues to do his duty and escort you to the above deck if you so wish to go.
Anyone staying down here for the 10 minutes?
No,
I
I will
will.
follow you.
I will stay.
Preacher stays. Okay.
I'll stay here too.
Sparks?
Going out before I kill him.
Figured as much.
Okay. So the commander, Trix, and Sparks head up. I'm assuming Silver and is Silver with you, or is Rox with you, or are they both back at the?
Actually, yeah, Silver would be basically acting commander at the moment,
At the Citadel.
and Rox, yeah, Rox. Oh yeah, Rox would still be recuperating. I mean, she just got back.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so she's maybe still on like shore leave to.
Oh yeah,
It's only
Yeah.
been
like
a
I
day.
figured. Yeah, I figured at least, hopefully a week, but it might have to be cut short.
Sure. Okay, so the three of you go up on top of the decks, but Lord Weston, the Legion's cleric, their morale officer, Captain Preacher, who is human and Grovarian, stays down below, along with the Lieutenant Commander, Broker. He stays at the table as well. Broker has some elven heritage. Not fully, but some.
Okay, gotcha.
Mark, that perception roll was once we get above deck. I'm going to be looking over the side to see if this ship has actually had any battles or if he's just full of it.
This ship has seen battle.
Okay.
It hasn't taken much battle. It doesn't have many battle scars, but it has certainly seen battle. It also has, as I've said, cannons, which is not a common
Lots of
sight.
cannons.
Yes.
Yes, but he's proven to be a giant bag of wind, so I wanted to see if it was true.
What is
Commander.
your intent on going above deck? Oh, go ahead. No, you speak. I apologize.
Commander Sparks, I just wanted you to know, I could just jump into the ocean right now and start attacking his ship from below.
Just kind of bursts out, like, quick little outburst of laughter before he gets it back under control real quick. I actually think I've got a reasonable idea regarding how to address the cannonry. What do you think of saying that they should be in House Weston's control, and as such will offer a post for a liaison as well as support staff within the Citadel, so that they can keep control and maintain the cannons and bring them up to proper repair in the event of an incursion. No powder would be stored on site, though.
I don't
We would have to
want
request
any
it from Weston itself. Well,
gas.
the thing is, the officer I would request would be the one that he sent to the meeting as an insult.
Gas. I don't want anyone from his entourage near the Citadel.
And that particular officer is not among his entourage.
I don't
We'll run it by Preacher.
Gaz,
know. Gas.
does House Weston, they control the inner harbor, correct?
I believe so. As well as the entire navy of Grovair.
Then why don't we just tell them that we'll be returning the cannons to their territory and dump them in the harbor?
That
So
overt of an insult would be a little much, I think.
Well, he did fart on you.
Insult me.
But he didn't toss any of my possessions into the bay.
Trix, go ahead and get inspiration if you haven't gotten it yet.
I already have some, but thank you.
You're welcome.
While you guys are talking on deck, a lot of the sailors start eyeing you up. The three of you, and you can start hearing that some of the sailors are starting under their breaths, cursing Gaz in common, like, "Oh, where you going, orc boy?" And like, "Yeah, you couldn't stick it in the desert. Now you come back for more." And they're just basically goading a little bit.
Gaz would turn around with a smile and just ask, I believe I'm hearing some mutters directed at me. Do any of you have an issue you would care to bring up?
And then you see kind of like one guy who's kind of like you can see from his kind of like uniform, he's kind of like a junior officer, and he kind of like spits on the floor and says, "Yeah, I think you're full of shit. I think you probably can't fight to save your life." And what can I say?
And you're really that disrespectful of your own crewmates that you make a mess that they have to clean up.
And he kind of like starts clicking his neck from left to right, and he says, "Go on, you want to have some, orc boy?"
Gaz, gain inspiration for that comment. I loved it.
Already have it.
Okay.
Just start making illusions around him using silent image of various ways that Gaz kills him.
Brilliant.
Can you go ahead and just roll? Oh, you can't. I'll roll it. I'm not gonna roll it. He's a common sailor. Is that correct?
He's a junior officer.
He's a junior officer. Okay. And what's your DC on your silent image?
15. That's my spell save DC.
Okay, I'll just roll a d20 and see what the results are.
Gaz, like, I don't think he would actually be noticing Trix doing this.
It's silent image. You can see them.
Oh, okay. I thought it was, like, just in his mind.
So
No.
he can transparently see through them, but they still happen, correct? With that
Yes.
DC? Okay, so he's your officer is watching these translucent images of Gaz giving various forms of death to him.
And Trix, please knock that off.
Yeah, Mark, I sent you a message.
Oh, I will look. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And he turned back to the junior officer and go, I'm pretty sure it'd be just degrading to myself if I even laid a hand on someone like you.
Well, yeah.
And just turned back around very pointedly to enjoy the scenery of the bay again.
Whisper to Trix. So, this plan of yours of sinking the ship, how does that work?
Well, I just swim under the ship and start shooting eldritch blasts into the bottom of it till it starts sinking. Then I could ask the sharks kindly to take care of any soldiers that are swimming in their waters.
And I'm curious how the junior officer responded to that type, saying that it'd be sullying my hands to touch him.
Lord, Stephen, I don't know if you're overhearing what the members of the Legion have been saying about it, like in the presence of your officer and how they've acted. But how does your officer respond?
So the officer just kind of like after this kind of like event that happened, and after like the gestures from the commander and what Trix did, he kind of like smirks to himself and just leaves the top deck of the ship.
In the meantime, Broker and Preacher, what are you doing at the table while you two are alone with, well, you two are the only members of the Legion with Lord Weston and his little entourage there?
I'll actually ask him. I was curious, Lord Weston, if you don't mind me asking.
What are you curious about?
How do you? Lady Benton described her as described her house as being the best and most open-minded in terms of embracing change and being open to the world. But it is your ships that provide her such security, is it not?
But of course. What's all this talk about change? Are you a philosopher or a lawyer? I hate both.
Neither, sir. I am a cleric of Orad.
Clerics. Are you one of those preachy ones? I'm telling you now, I've sinned. I've sinned a lot, and I like it.
I do not judge a man for his sins.
Ah, are you interested in some sin, cleric?
Not at this time. But thank you for the offer.
He smiles.
You,
I'm curious.
It's Lieutenant, is that right?
Lieutenant Commander.
I must have forgot.
Won't bother. As well as I forgot your place in the desert as well.
Yes, I'm one of those who didn't get lost.
Well, I'm just saying, you speak of valor, and I'm sure you have many accomplishments. That's
Why, yes. Should I call upon the ship's bard to tell you some of it?
no. I'm sure we can take your word for it.
Good man.
And that. All right. That was a little bit of sarcasm, but okay.
Oh, I have to feel, as one of the oldest noble houses to have come about. Sorry, take it back. As one of the oldest and most noble of the houses in Grovair, you must look upon these newer houses that have come up with nothing, with such arrogance that should disgust, don't you?
Why disgust? Let the newer houses do what they will. We in House Weston have centuries of tradition defending our country, doing what is right. Yes, we do not fear the other houses.
As you're having this conversation, the officer from above deck, the junior officer, comes into the room, walks over to the table, whispers something in your ear, and also takes a note of parchment and holds it out for you.
Okay.
He whispers in your ear about the events upon the deck, but the note is about your... it's about one of your officers who is also a Weston, one of your cousins.
Indeed. So I will read the note, and I will stand up and gasp, "Treachery! Treachery!" And I will summon my officers, and I will throw the letter on the floor. See this? This is what happens when you meddle in affairs of state, and the cost when you don't know what you're doing.
At this point,
Who's been meddling?
yeah,
Figure
Commander,
that's- yeah.
Captain Trix, Captain Sparks, you kind of walk in the room as he throws this letter down in outrage and begins and says some of this.
Insight.
Insight.
Sure. I will have.
I
He's
can
going
roll
to
for-
smirk.
I have essentially a DC in mind.
We probably should have just let you roll it, actually.
Me roll it?
Yeah, behind GM screen, sort of. That way, one of us failed hard enough, you could just tell us.
Do I get the impression that this is genuine outrage, or we watching a performance?
There is at least to you, Preacher, not to anyone else, but at the very least to you, there's a level of noble pageantry to his behavior.
I see.
Whatever is on
but-
that letter, he's using it to propel, or he is enhancing its meaning specifically in this moment.
At this moment, Mark,
Mm-hmm.
I would also kind of like storm out of the room for a short while, officers in tow, and leave the Legion in that room for a few moments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a few moments.
Yeah, I'll send you a message.
Okay.
Were there any visible injuries on the Admiral?
Yeah, when you walk out, is there any noticeable like limp, or is there anything that they would take as a sign of having been in battle, Stephen?
Oh yeah, he's got a gammy knee.
Okay.
I kind of suspected as much. But...
Okay.
So what do you two make of him, as well as his crew?
So before you go, Strike him, I guess. The letter's still on the table. Just so you know. He would have thrown the letter on the table, stormed out.
Okay.
Okay, once he storms out, and I'm with my
This is very
perception
much a test.
knows that there's no one there.
There are maids still here.
The maids are still here.
No, the maids left.
His entire entourage went with
Yeah,
him.
they're
Including Greg.
You left them in there alone, right? Just them?
Just them.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So I will take with Mage Hand the letter, read it, and put it back exactly where it was.
Okay. The letter speaks of a like Lieutenant Weston, like Lieutenant Thurgood Weston, who was assassinated by what appeared to be an assassin of House Andros earlier or in the night. That night, the assassin was caught by members of the Marines and is due to be hung upon the Lord's wishes, should he desire for that to happen, for for the assassination of not only a officer but a member of the house, a noble in his own right.
Be the lieutenant that received us when we first arrived to Grover?
No, that was an admiral who had
Admiral,
received
okay.
you. Yep.
Was that the representative that was at the meeting though?
Stephen?
No, it was not.
Okay.
All right. I'll say when Sparks relays that letter, I'll be like, this was planned. He knew exactly what was in the contents of that letter before he even read it.
It's Hendriss's spies, so...
Uh-oh.
Sorry, that's me. I got a weather warning.
Ah.
More remnants of the hurricanes.
Yep.
Ouch.
It's North Carolina, so we're fine.
How far in from the coast are you?
Not far.
Oof.
Wasn't our assassin marked as being from House Andros as well?
Marked as such, yes. And we haven't heard anything regarding that interrogation, have we?
You have not.
Like
It's literally only been like a couple of days since that happened.
Figured as much, but... Yeah, this is rather obvious fate.
Or
No,
he's
I'm
trying
feeling-
he's trying to throw off who really sent the assassin for you, Commander.
Entirely possible. Either way, I think I understand why he's enjoyed such success in the game, given that he initially had me really off kilter until I managed to pick up on the fact that he was trying to do so deliberately. Granted, that also means he can get away with openly disrespecting others, because they will then try and examine what the meaning is behind each act.
creature kind of gets a smile up on his face, like, at last, he's finally starting to learn.
Plots within plots within plots. The dragon was easier.
Lord Weston, you shortly after this return, correct?
I do not actually.
Oh, okay.
I sent you a mess. Yeah, you've seen the message. Basically, and his absence is probably a little bit conspicuous.
Okay. How long
For the moment.
How long before you start to wonder why you've been left in this room alone? And whether or not the Admiral would come back, or the Lord would come back?
Probably, I'm thinking maybe 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. Very short period of time. So by the end of that conversation, you've been having, Lord Weston has not yet returned.
Maybe let's try and go above decks and make sure everything's okay.
Can I make an investigation check in the room?
Yes. Go ahead.
Before you do that, like, as Trix gets up to do that.
That's Broker who's doing that.
I mean, Broker. Before Broker gets up to do that, I'll go to before you do anything rash. Trix, Sparks, can someone see if there's any active magic?
Can either of you detect magic?
I
Not
can detect
today.
it at will.
You can detect it at will?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't take the.
Also, that nature roll was to see if I could feel if the ship was moving.
I think it's still in the bay, but it is like it's turning. It's like kind of just listing on the waters, right? It's not actively. Its sails
It's
are
the normal,
unfurled, right? It's
the normal swell.
Yes, exactly.
Just making sure he wasn't taking us out to sea.
Yes.
Good call.
But yes, I can detect magic.
Okay.
So.
If you detect magic, you find no kind of there's no divination magic or abjuration magic or any other magic present in the room.
Alright, so there's
So
no.
I'm checking the whole room, correct?
I would assume yes. If so.
Okay. So I don't know if this has ever come up yet or not, but have I noticed that Sparks is constantly covered in illusion magic?
Yes.
Okay, that was just for my own personal thing. Never mind.
Every time you have detect magic activated, you would notice that.
Okay.
And that you would constantly notice that.
There's no magic here, Captain. I think he's just left, and the ship does not feel as though it is putting out to sea.
At the same time, Broker, what are you looking for as you investigate, as you get up and start to check around the room?
Really, if there's any, like, I guess anomalies? Is that the right word?
Sure, yeah. Anything that
Things
doesn't belong there?
Yeah.
No. The room is as you would expect it to be. There's, you do find a well-hidden dagger right at the head of the table, but that's not uncommon for for noble practice to have a weapon strapped to the head of the table where the noble leader could defend themselves at a ready notice, especially not in Grove Air. But you find nothing that would indicate you were being like spied upon while you're in this room, or nothing that would indicate any kind of intent of foul play.
Could I interject, Mark, if that's okay?
Sure, you may interject. Yeah.
So after about 10 minutes, there would be a large knock on the door.
The door to the deck or door that you exited from?
Yeah, the door.
The
he
door I
exited
exited from.
Yep.
I'd open it.
And outside, you would see a full platoon of Marines headed by a major. And the major would say, "Please send out Captain Trix."
If I'm going to be loaning you one of my captains, I would appreciate knowing why.
He is to be brought above deck immediately.
We'll all go if it's all right with you.
Very well. Can I take a little bit of narrative control, Mark, if that's okay? Just about guiding to the top of the deck?
Yes, you may.
So you're basically led out, and as you leave the top deck, the whole deck is lined with the entire fleet of the crew. They're all dressed in their full uniforms. The Marines are wearing bright red coats. And you are led out, Trix at the front, to a drum beat.
The Marines also wear they wear these bright red coats over perfectly polished breastplates with the symbol of House Weston upon them, as if they are made ready. They are always made ready for action.
And as you're being escorted out, you see that Lord Weston is now sitting on a drumhead.
Is something the matter, Lord Weston?
He doesn't look to you, Commander, but he looks directly. I call forth Captain of the Phoenix Legion.
You said Captain Trix of the Phoenix Legion?
Yes.
Okay. There's a slight breakup in your...
Apologies.
No problem.
Yes.
Captain Trix, did you use magic on the deck of this ship today?
I did. Would you like your 10-piece now?
Under naval law and under the law of Grover, I sentence you to be charged for the crime of magic on a naval vessel. You are to be remanded in custody. Marines, take him to the brig.
For how long of a duration, Lord Weston?
Until he is tried, of course.
And this trial would occur when?
When I decide it is fit.
And if we refuse?
If you refuse to operate under the naval law and the law of Grover, I have no doubt that it will be brought to the council and you will be expelled from the city.
Insight check.
Roll it. You know that naval law is different when you're aboard a naval vessel, and you know that he has influence in the council, and if there are enough council members that would like to see the Legion gone, that he might be able to persuade them to go along with that, though you don't know that he has the power to simply expel the Legion from the city. But he is being completely forthright with what he is saying.
As you said, this was an offense regarding naval law, but I would feel much better if Trix was incarcerated in a jail mainland.
Denied.
On what grounds?
This is my ship, Commander. What happens on my ship is my responsibility.
And his custody couldn't be transferred?
No.
Those of you with enough history to know would know that it could be, but he does not have to do that. That is his.
It's at his discretion.
It's at his discretion. Steven, you smarmy bastard.
Okay.
We didn't even get to the subject of the cannonry within the Citadel, nor the actions of House Keaton, if you have been made aware of that.
I'm sure he has, Commander. House Keaton sent letters to every one of the houses announcing their intentions with House Carmichael, didn't they?
Weston, do you respond to that?
I do not. The only thing I will say is, Marines, take the captain to the brig.
They are stepping up to do so.
It's a terrible thing that will happen to this ship, but you can keep me here.
Are you threatening the lives and crew of this ship again, Captain? That is also a crime.
I am not going to do anything to your ship. You have my word.
Very well. Then, guards.
Adam, I can't keep giving you inspiration if you already have it. They...
So I believe our business for today is concluded, it seems.
Very well.
No.
The trial...
Well, business for today is concluded. Maybe concluded, Commander. I'll look over Lord Weston. But is it? As essentially, all right, you've got us where you want us. What the fuck do you want?
Sure.
In polite speak.
And Trix, you allow yourself to be escorted. I will say this. Commander and Trix, do you allow Trix to be escorted to the brig?
Trix is putting up no resistance. He just can't wait to get underwater.
And Gaz honestly is fully aware of that, so he's allowing Trix to be escorted away.
Okay, Trix, you are escorted.
Because he knows it would be a hugely disadvantageous move to try and interfere here.
You are escorted by the same platoon of Marines that escorted the commanders all to the deck, and you are brought down below to the lowest, well, not quite the lowest deck of the ship, but definitely below sea level to the brig, where you are locked away in a cell and guarded by several Marines. So Lord Weston, Preacher, implies that subtly, with the tact and wisdom that you would expect of a human officer of Grovarian descent, he plays right into your sensibilities and asks this question. What do you say?
I would say, drinks will be served in an hour, gentlemen. Good day.
He doesn't even acknowledge Sparks in that comment. And you excuse yourself from the deck of the ship?
Yeah, so as I said, I'll be back in an hour to discuss.
Okay. David,
There's no method to get off, is there?
God damn it, chat.
David has been screaming in chat for Trix to sink this ship the entire time.
Have you seen my comment, Mark?
Okay. Understood. Do you need to, what is your ability? Has said you can telepathically speak with sea creatures?
Yep, within 120 feet of me.
Okay, what is your,
So I just need something to swim by.
Do you, I guess make a persuasion roll. I'll give you advantage, to do so. Okay, that's a critic. That's a 20. That's a nat 20. All right.
Steven, do you know what a Warlock of the Deep is? Because that's what
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you don't mind, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back as the hour of waiting commences. Show this fool why Aquaman is a member of the Justice League. We'll be right back. We are back. Thank you for all watching. We got a 20 viewers in chat tonight. If you're out there, say hello. I said this in the chat earlier. I don't know if anybody saw it or if all of you saw it, but if you are a content creator, if you are a streamer or a D&D content creator or a TTRPG content creator outside of Twitch, or are, like I said, a streamer, please share what you do with us. You could share it in chat. That's fine. You can reach out to me on Twitter and tell me about it, and we'll share your content. Or join our Discord and go to the community creations and share your content there. We want to know and support what you do. Also, we're gonna grow together as a community, so we want to help uplift you if you are here watching us. I know that the Nat 30s were here at one point, and that's awesome to see them every time. And as well as Hallister's Compass. We also enjoy your work. We've been touching base on Twitter a bunch, so yeah. Let us give you a shout out. But let's get back to the game. After about 20 minutes or so, Trix, you begin to hear the telepathic communications of a large whale.
My master requires something south of here destroyed. Take us there. Grab the anchor.
Okay. Suddenly, as the ship is sitting in the bay, it begins to get pulled backwards to the south. It is moving at a steady pace. I won't say at a fast pace, but at a steady pace.
Okay.
And all of us are above decks then? Or all of the Legion captains, I mean?
The other Legion captains, I believe, are still above deck, awaiting for Lord Weston's return.
Just like in Navy character, if this was happening and sailors saw the boat moving without any orders, obviously they'd be reporting it to officers. The junior
Absolutely.
officers would
Yeah.
be reporting
Yep.
to senior officers.
The entire ship
flurry of
becomes
activity.
abuzz with activity. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. And eventually they would just cut the anchor.
Okay. The seeing the taut pull upon the anchor, they release the anchor, and it just starts pulling away from the ship instead of the ship itself being pulled, until the chain becomes perfectly taut. And when that happens, they pull the pin that looses the chain from the ship, and it slides into the sea.
Yeah.
The ship has now drifted into the ocean. It is now several miles, or maybe a couple of miles from shore by the time this happens, and drifting.
Likewise, all the guns would be manned, and like there'll be somebody at the top of the crow's nest keeping an eye out for anything irregular. But that's all standard.
Yeah, it's all standard.
Standard stuff.
All standard stuff. You don't have to do anything, Lord Weston, to respond to this. Your men know what to do, right?
Agreed.
And they begin to unfurl the sails and try to steer the ship back in the direction of Grovair. Sure. Trix, you feel the change, the sudden change in the movement of the ship over several minutes, where at first the ship kind of spins around and then starts moving in the direction that you had asked, and then it slowly comes to a halt after several miles.
Now we'll wait and see what he does.
There's no other disturbances, Lord Weston. The ship begins to make its way back into the bay by sail power and through proper piloting. After what are all of the commanders doing while they are waiting for Lord Weston's return? And after experiencing this sudden shift in the ship's in the way the ship sails, because it was not sailing in the proper direction. It was sailing ass end to the south.
I don't think Gaz is all that surprised.
He's not surprised.
Just like, yeah, I know what's happening here.
Yep.
Like, whatever.
Okay.
A normal day.
All right. After the rest of the hour passes, you return.
I don't know if you saw my message, Mark.
Oh, I saw. I saw. Lord Weston, do you return after the full hour is up?
Of course,
Perfect
punctuality.
punctuality. Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. You return above decks. The ship is sailing. It's sailing in the bay now. The sails are left at like half-mast this time to be able to be deployed more rapidly should something like that occur again. But as you come aboard the deck, one of your officers runs over and whispers into your ear, Lord Weston, the lady, the masthead, she's suddenly covered with barnacles.
God damn.
Okay. So what he would do is he would like have like this fit of pique, and start kind of like slapping he got like a cane that he uses and start swishing it about, and then he would look over to the commander if he's on deck. And what would the commander's reaction be as you look over to him?
He probably wouldn't. Well, for one thing, he wouldn't even have heard that anyway. So he.
No.
Totally
I mean,
unaware.
not to that specific.
Oh,
Just how are you?
Yeah.
How are you holding yourself in the midst
Correct.
of what's been going on over the last hour?
probably seated and looking out to sea.
Okay.
And his face just stone at that point.
Hmm.
So as I look at the barnacles, I would order click and clack up to the decks.
Okay.
So I tell my officers to get them, and I would order the what's the word? I can't do English anymore. I would order the building of the whipping post, and then I would have clip and clack whipped 100 lashes each in the full public viewing for letting the ship's head be covered in barnacles.
The masthead was not covered in barnacles when we departed port, Lord Weston. It is not a failing of the servants.
I don't think the discipline of this ship is your concern, Commander.
How pissed is Gaz right now?
Not enough to do a will save for it, but close to.
Okay. Gaz was full of pleasantries when he arrived, right? But now he is stone-faced, and that is a noticeable difference in his demeanor, Lord Weston.
Sure. At that, Lord Weston smiles, and it just continues on as the whips are going by the drum beat. You know.
Do I see the smile?
Oh yes.
He's not making. He's not making a. He's not making a. He's not hiding it.
All right, I will yell out and sigh. Such a feeble man.
You can have inspiration as well. Holy crap. Jesus.
At that, he will add an extra 50 lashes to each of the click and clack.
I give him a chuckle. Is that what you will do to the people of Grovair?
Make that 200 lashes. Their lives are in your hands, Lieutenant.
I think after the first 100, they both collapse into unconsciousness.
Sure.
And do you stop the whipping at that point, or would you let them continue?
I'll order them to be tended to and then brought back out again.
Okay. The ship's medic tends to them, heals them, and they are brought back out with their wounds healed to be tied again and the lashing to continue.
The beating shall continue until morale improves.
I look over to.
Out of character, obviously.
Yeah, I look over to Gaz. I look over to Sparks. I look over to Preacher.
Preacher just looks at you, just shakes his head ever so slightly.
Gaz is keeping pointedly facing away from... Actually, no, he would look upon this while his hands are biting into the railing hard enough that he's actually indenting it.
Alright. Would I notice this?
Oh yes, I think so. Anybody with an insight, anybody with a positive insight would notice this.
Especially given how Gaz tends to be.
Okay. In that case, can I make a history check to see if there's any forms for duels?
If you are a knighted or noble member of the city, you are perfectly within your rights to challenge anyone in the city to a duel, whether they are noble or knighted or not.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're not officially recognized as that yet.
You can see that it is visibly difficult for the disciplinarians to continue with these lashings. Not physically, but like they're kind of like 200 lashings. That's like unheard of. But they follow what they're told to do.
Basically, Count Reuben and the Princess Bride, not to 50.
While this is happening, by the way, the drinks are being served.
Gaz would pointedly not partake.
Noticing Gaz's reaction, if he's doing that, he would look to Preacher then. You wanted to have a discussion, Captain.
I did. But seeing as how this is your ship, and this is your ship, I believe is your imperative to go first.
After a number more lashings, the two fall unconscious again, and those doling out the punishment kind of look to you, Lord Weston, to see if they should once again have them healed and continue. You can see that they are uncomfortable with this situation because this is
I'll just
unusual.
Shoot them off. I'll shoot them off.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are taken below decks by the medic and the officers performing the punishment.
Lord Weston, may I have a moment? And I'll kind of nod my head towards the click and clack.
Yes, Commander.
I'd approach, remove my gauntlets, put my hands on the back. Let's see here.
Are you using...
So 17 to one and 18 to the other.
Okay. With them being just servants, that would probably fully heal them.
So, has he used magic again?
This is lay on hands.
It's not technically magic. It is simply divine power.
May Sarenrae be with you tonight.
He kind of prays.
Being with you tomorrow.
He prays, and as he prays, the wounds simply heal. there's no evidence of the use of magic.
Okay.
Supernatural. Actually, I think I'd probably go 15 and 15 because I'd want to hold 5 in reserve in case of some other situation.
Understood.
And I would say that to them in Orcish, by the way.
You pray in Orcish. And
Well, no, it'd be the, may Serenway be with you tonight, and I plan on being with you tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, Lord Weston, why did you request our presence aboard your ship?
To meet the...
Presumably you had some meeting in mind, or some details to discuss at the meeting.
To meet the legendary Phoenix Legion, of course. I would be remiss, given the throes of...
With all due respect, sir, quit the bullshit.
Kind of elbow tricks in
broker.
Hey, broker.
Yep, again, broker. Sorry.
I'm happy that I'm not the only one that mistakes their voices for each other, though. I kept thinking I was insane for doing that.
I kind of elbow broker in the side just a little bit.
Lord Weston would raise an eyebrow.
Your junior officer mentioned at the meeting that that one of the topics of discussion were the cannons at the Citadel, correct? Or is that more of a footnote at this point?
I had sent you a message earlier letting you know that the proprietary cannons that belong to House Weston are still mounted atop the Citadel, though they are older, and that no actual shot or gunpowder has been left.
Gotcha.
They are outdated and in disrepair, but they are present.
Understood.
Much like the Legion itself, I assume, is Weston's thought.
Commander, let me be frank. I'll also look to kind of broker and say, maybe it's best if the adults in the room have a discussion.
We were having a discussion prior to you charging one of my captains, holding him in your brig, being unwilling to allow him to the mainland even, and then ordering 2 servants to be whipped because of an offense directed at us.
Your captain pleaded guilty, did he not?
Correct. And your man was attempting to goad us into a fight. I did not take him up on the offer.
You are on my ship. My ship, are you not?
That aside, there is the matter of the servants being whipped due to
Commander.
Yeah, Gaz would shut up at that point.
I'm sorry.
He's fucking done.
He is done.
So, plainly speaking, why did you request our presence aboard the ship?
As I said, I was much intrigued to see the much lauded Phoenix Legion in our city. Given the expectation of the other houses, I wanted to see what all the fuss was about.
Well, you've brought them to a silence.
No, just...
And
that's it. But how can I say this? We are at a somewhat of a pickle. One of your men has committed a great crime, of which the punishment is normally death. But that is, of course, in my responsibility.
Mark, I remove my handcuffs and hand them to the guards.
Understood.
Gaz would arch an eyebrow at hearing the death, and he'd kind of look at Preacher because...
History?
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a history roll.
Or Broker.
depending on the severity of the use of magic, especially fire magic, certainly they could issue death as a reasonable punishment. But for what Trix did, it is. I mean,
Highly egregious.
Yes, but it is certainly under his purview to issue a
Because
death
it happened
certificate.
aboard a ship.
Yeah, because it happened on a ship. He is basically judge, jury, and executioner upon his ship as long as it is under naval law, and he specifically brought you into the bay before having the meeting.
So, but death, punishment of death is, while within your purview, highly irregular, Commander. Surely we can reach an understanding.
And what understanding do you suggest, Captain?
I believe that is up for you to proffer. I have a feeling that this was intentional. Or at least hoped for.
Are you suggesting something, Commander? I mean, if you want to have the...
I'm saying that you likely do have something in mind here.
Ah.
Is that not right?
Well, we are all gentlemen here, like blatantly ignoring Sparks. And he will smile. I'm sure something could be worked out.
The cannons
and
aboard.
that something would be...
The cannons are trivial, but I expect they'll return forthwith, immediately.
And?
I require a certain document.
That's it.
What document located where?
The archives.
The Hall of Records specifically, or like the
Grand Archives or the Hall of Records?
Yes.
Where's the kind of... Oh, I'll send you a message, Mark.
Yeah, I gotcha. I'm already waiting for it, actually.
Yeah. Sent.
Okay, I will.
You there, Mark?
Yep, I'm just giving you a response.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hall of Records would be the most likely place, although it could be that those documents could be found possibly in the courthouse, the courts are like their archives.
Okay. Wherever you think's best.
Probably the Hall of Records.
Yeah, then I'd say the Hall of Records.
I think our music stopped.
Thought it was awfully quiet.
Honestly, given the situation, kind of fitting. Like dead silence at sea.
That should be the name of the episode.
Cameras are whacked.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know that. I had to go to the music channel, so it took the cameras down for a second. I got it.
Oh, I see the one.
Right, so what document located where?
I require a document from one of my ancestors, the great Wilberforce Weston.
Can't say as I've heard of them, but I'm not from Grover.
Might I make a history check?
Sure. Yeah, that's. I mean, that is. He's asking about a real person.
Oh, I think maybe, if he's as famous as he is, maybe we know him for any of the feats he might have done.
Sure. I mean, he was one of the head of your houses, of your house.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Correct.
Sure. He was a head of the house. He was quite a what's the word I'm looking for?
Accomplished?
Yeah, accomplished naval officer, commander. Brought quite a bit of, probably a very prestigious ancestor. I'm assuming you would go with one of your most prestigious ancestors that you're
Correct.
looking for information on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do you need the Legion's help in
I will.
obtaining this?
I will shush up. That is not. I'll just look over at Gaz and again shake my head. As in, do we really need that? I'm sorry, but that's not information we necessarily require. Correct?
I'll gently smile.
Trix, for what you had mentioned earlier below deck, I would like you to make a persuasion roll, please.
Okay. I'm going to use my inspiration.
Oh,
Oh,
Ow.
worse. Damn.
I'm sure.
Can
you'll
I
get it
give you
again.
mine?
I mean, at a later time, if he has to make another roll, but it just gives you advantage, right? So you can't roll multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely not being threatening. I'm just asking them how much they believe their god would save them in a catastrophe,
Sowing
and
seeds.
hinting that I know something they don't. Like, as far as like a god that would.
So at this point, you will be getting the cannons, and we will be obtaining this record of your ancestor.
Correct.
Anything else while we're at it?
No.
And in return, you could see to it that you are so magnanimous that you overlook this minor crime.
He'll smile and say, "Justice will be done."
Insight.
Yep.
You don't need to roll. I mean, his sense of justice is nowhere to be seen here. he's implying that if you do what he wants, he'll release Trix, right? And if you don't, he won't.
But the implication could also be that, yeah, he won't die for now. Until I come up with something else for you to do.
What is your justice will be done implying?
It's the wrong roll.
That was initiative.
No, I know. I tried to
Did she
do
stutter?
something before, and it didn't roll, so I'm just checking.
Yeah,
There we go.
Sparks has a 21 on her insight. She has a passive insight of 20. So
No, I mean, like, Weston and some in matters are purely transactional.
Favor for a favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean,
the insight that I'm checking is I know that he's transactional, but he can also then ask for something else before he releases.
No, because I mean, like,
Trix.
I can only say, like, my impression of Weston as I play him is that if he did that, he wouldn't have got far as he is today. Like, he honors his commitments because,
He needs to honor something.
Yeah, when it comes to favors, it's important that favors are done, and it's important that favors are exchanged. Otherwise,
Can be counted upon.
Correct. That's the world of Grover.
Preacher's fun thing, like, finally, someone who's actually, aside, between Benton, Carmichael, and Dolan being kind of forthright and, like, relatively honest, This is who he's been expecting to be the lords of the houses are. This right here.
Old school.
And what will happen with Captain Trix in the meantime?
He will stay here, of course.
Fair enough. And may I ask that you release Click and Clack from your service? After all, why would you need two such half-wit half-orcs that can't even clean a masthead properly?
At this kind of suggestion, Weston would see this as impertinence, right? He would see this as a kind of like, these are my people, my men. You have no right, and he would just go icy cold, and he would just say,
do a persuasion to kind of at least soften it.
You can do a persuasion roll. Yeah, go ahead. And
at least that way it might not be as severe a reaction from him.
So Gaz rolls a 25 on persuasion. I will let you know that he.
Yeah, I wouldn't be getting a yes, but
right. You can tell that he is asking this out of compassion, more not necessarily as a dig towards Weston.
Sure.
Okay, but again, you still would react how you would react, but maybe you may go icy cold, but perhaps not see it as a offense.
Insult.
Yeah, he would just say, I think not.
it's going to be a very long sail back into the bay.
And you do sail back into the bay. Weston has leveled his terms. Get him this document, and he will return your captain to you.
Is Lukash still in the archives?
So
I believe so, yeah.
You have not received he has not reported back as of yet.
But the archives, I think, are distinct from the Hall of Records, right?
No, it's the Hall of Records. It is the Hall of Records.
Okay.
That is where he is at. And I will also... There are no particular place... Or I should say, the archives are specifically the catacombs beneath the Hall of Records where the oldest documents are kept. And every time Lukash is completing one of the tasks... You guys
we get another one,
another piece of information you wanted to gather.
Yep.
I'm gonna have you guys. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna have you guys roll up side characters and have you play out the rest of the mission in the archives as one of our sessions, as Lukash and the other and the team he has down there. Lord Weston has leveled his terms, and you sail back to the shore.
And our character, Gaz, is basically thinking, he could have asked us this, and we would have done it. Or we'd have been willing to send people to do it.
Weston doesn't think that way, though.
Yeah, I know.
He wants to be in control the entire time, he doesn't want to ask, he wants to dictate.
Not only that, but he sees himself as superior to all of you. He's made that clear. He doesn't think very highly of a half-orc commander, or half-orcs in general. They are servants, to be done with as he wills. He didn't even acknowledge Sparks as an officer.
Yeah, incidentally, Gaz will be trying to... Or, once we get back to port and off this damn ship, he'll be asking Preacher and Broker regarding, okay, I thought those two were servants, not... I mean, it all... releasing him from his service seems like something that they could do voluntarily. Slavery isn't legal in Grover, right?
Slavery.
It's not that. It's not that, Commander. But they're his. You tried to take something away that was his.
Well, they're also part of the Navy, I'm assuming, then. Because otherwise, Gaz would probably be trying to send someone to them and basically imploring that they quit Weston, and the Legion would welcome them with open arms.
Besides, Commander. if we can get things to go how we want them, House Weston, as it stands now, will be nothing but a footnote or dragon bait.
If when you get to shore, do you leave the ship without Trix?
We kind of have to.
Okay.
Just a couple of things, Mark. I'm gonna have to go in like a couple of minutes.
Yep. I was bringing
but-
it to a close.
Sure.
Yeah.
Before I leave though, I would like make clear to like the Legion that Trix's arrest has been is public. His arrest and his trial date have been sent to all the major houses. Also, the fact that he pleaded guilty.
Okay. Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you post the message you sent me about the letter in the diplomacy chat and tag diplomacy so
Will
that
do.
all the houses can have that document at their disposal?
Will do. It'll be tomorrow morning, but sure.
Yeah, no problem. I can do it. I'll just cut and paste it and tag it.
No, I'll write something fancy. I enjoy that kind of stuff.
Understood. Then you do it tomorrow morning.
I'll do it tomorrow morning.
Okay. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure.
I'm sure it's been our pleasure and not theirs. So thank you for being the most evil bastard that they could possibly encounter in Grovair. And yeah.
So far, anyway.
Yeah, so far.
So far. Pleasure, guys. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for being here.
Hi, asshole.
Later.
Yeah.
I might have to rearrange cameras real quick, so let me do that.
Yes, you do.
Yep, I do.
So we're going to the Hall of Records ourselves now?
Yeah.
You already have
Because
a team
we-
there.
But at the same time, we now have, what, 3 or 4 different things there?
Yeah. Yes.
And I don't
Didn't
believe we have
say
any
that-
other houses meeting with us tonight, right?
Not tonight.
Wait, we didn't send another team to look for Lukash because
You-
he was taking a long time.
You did, and then you got word back from him. I gave that to you a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, so basically we have 2 teams there. Do you guys want to go to the Hall of Records, even though we have 2 teams?
Well, here's my. I'll ask that question another. Just how much longer do you intend to leave Captain Trix there doing God knows what?
With any luck, you
Sparks
just
is
sink the
thinking
damn
that-
ship.
If Sparks is thinking that if we leave him there long enough, he might sink the ship, and probably that's going to be a good thing for Grovair.
Good thing for Grovair in the
Well,
long run, but
It'd
not.
be a bad thing for Weston personally, but it'd be a bad thing for Grovair in the long run because it means we just lost a major warship.
Trix.
Even if it's controlled by a complete asshole.
Trix, you were aware that the ship anchors back in the city. You can tell by the change in the movements of the ship that, and you're still down here.
Oh, probably before we disembarked the ship, we probably went down. One of us went down the brig and
Yeah.
let him know.
Yeah.
Let him know exactly what's going on.
Who would go?
There.
Okay.
Gaz personally.
No, I want to go too.
Gaz.
Yeah,
I
Gaz would,
insist on going.
I'm going.
oh yeah, I wouldn't deny anyone the right to go, but Gaz would insist on being there himself as the commander.
Okay.
Unless he has to play act upstairs with the...
No, Lord Weston leaves your presence after his declarations.
Okay, that's actually for the best there.
Yeah. And you are welcome to be escorted down below decks to speak with your captain. Trix, the other officers come down to see you below deck.
In chains, but I'm not wearing them. I'm just sitting in my cell.
Yeah, they had
With my
manacled
hands
him on
crossed.
the way down. He's not wearing manacles anymore. He's just in the cell.
What was that for, Stu?
Not saying.
Okay.
Resisting the urge of killing everyone. Probably.
What do you say when you get down there? He is in chains. He's not in chains, but he is behind bars. What do you tell him?
Gaz would be uncommonly terse. Like, unfortunately, we are having to leave you behind. We will return as soon as possible. Lord Weston has made his terms clear.
That's fine. Look forward to making some new friends while I'm here.
The more friends you make, the better.
Do send me a letter if he chooses to execute me. His ship will not make it. Now, unlike when I was speaking with you two fine men about a hypothetical something could happen to your ship while you're at sea, that was a threat that if I am to be killed, I will have this ship destroyed.
Lost the map, by the way.
Yes, I know.
So we're heading on to the Hall of Records then?
Wait until you guys are out of earshot to speak with Trix.
Okay.
Well, you'd have to make it clear that you're waiting for that, I think. Otherwise, well, yeah, Gaz would probably head back upstairs after giving that terse bit. Obviously, very much like kind of worrying his tongue over his broken tusk quite a bit.
Is Booker still there?
Yeah.
I will awkwardly wait there, not saying anything.
Oh, I needed to talk to you. That's why I was waiting.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second. I need to talk to Trix.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
I'll wait.
whispering without moving my lips because the other two guys are there. So, do you want me to bring my ship and help you with this?
Not yet. We'll see how this goes. I mean, these bars can't actually hold me. I can make acid at will. The chains can't keep me chained up. I could have something break this ship at any time. I'm here because I choose to be. Because I don't want to make any more problems for the commander. But I could leave whenever I wanted.
Are you saying this like just nonchalantly with like where like the guards up the hall could hear you if you said it?
Oh, he's not being quiet at all. He's literally telling them that he's only here because he chooses to be.
Yeah, they kind of like exchange looks as you say this.
Okay, do you want me to pass any message to your new friend?
Yes, tell Lost to continue with spreading of the good word.
Anything that you need?
No.
Okay.
The longer you leave me here, though, the longer it may take the Commander Weston to have his masthead repaired. Barnacles are very nasty on gold.
Smile, and I say, well, I was hoping to keep you here as long as possible until I see the sink ship. But that being said, can Lost speak with the creatures of the sea?
Not yet, but with time he will.
Well, I was thinking of find a way of communication in case you need a lead.
I'll find a way to communicate with you. Check the cove occasionally.
Fair enough. And I will leave Trix there, and I will just because everything she said was in whisper and her lips not moving, she will just the people there will only see her say, "Have fun," and just walk away.
It is so thematically appropriate that Trix was the one to get locked in the brig. It's just one of those things, one of those happy little accidents that works out so well narratively.
What was Broker? What do you wanted to talk to me about?
Do you wait till you're off the ship to have this conversation?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll wait till we're off the ship.
Okay.
This will probably take a minute.
And as like we are walking away from the ship, I will walk next to Gaz. You did well, Commander.
I would love to see him fed to the Thundermaw. And he was biting back a cuss right there. We're going to the Hall of Records now. I've got a captain in custody, and I mean he is literally fuming at this point.
But that is, and I'll go. You did well. That is what the game is like. If it was, and Preacher just goes. If it wasn't Trix, it would have been something. It would have been something else.
Likely the letter they left behind, and all of us charged.
Weston. He wanted the meeting solely for everything he did was calculated to get you to the point where he could dictate his demands to you and have you in a position not to refuse them.
Preacher, you know that everything that he did not only was for that, but it was to get Gaz to the point he's at now, completely incensed.
And also this. And I will say, just also, he also wanted to get into your head. Because he also wanted you to be angry. Because in his mind, you get angry, half-orc gets angry, lashes out, only reinforces his perception that of how lowly he regards them. Don't give him that.
Well, at least he did manage to get it under control with the council, as well as after the council doing a prayer to Sarenrae, essentially.
Gaz begins to soften. His anger is not fully subsided, but he's cooling.
We are still going to the Hall of Records tonight because I am not having a Captain of the Legion in his custody for any longer than absolutely necessary.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Were you all going onto his ship?
I don't believe so, so... Yeah, we are... Actually, we're going to have to go to the Hall of Records as is anyway, because we aren't allowed weaponry in the city anyhow.
I mean, we could... Like, the Hall of Records is where on the map?
It is in, I believe, 51. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so no one is enforcing that necessarily.
The Hall of Records, yes, that's where it is. It is.
House Dolan did say they would recognize the Legion as a knightly order. So,
have they done so officially yet, though?
But we can go from 12 to the center, then Dolan, then 51, right?
Or we could get to a teleport rune and just go right there.
I think that would be the best option.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll arm up and go there. And this time I am bringing Agranak along.
The minute you, as you're walking down the docks before heading back to the Citadel to grab Agranak, there is a familiar face standing upon the docks. The face of a Knight of the Page that you are all aware of.
Mr. Falco, huh?
Yes, he is. He is the correspondent assigned to the Legion.
Funny enough, I'm actually kind of relieved. After Weston's completely dirty tricks, this kind of dirty trick seems absolutely benign.
Once again, Preacher's like, he's finally getting it.
Commander Gaz
Oh, yeah.
and the members of the Legion coming off of the Buxom Blonde. How lucky of me to have caught you. Tell me, did you have a meeting with Lord Weston today? I hear that the commanders of the Legion are going around and meeting with each of the heads of houses.
That is the case.
At least that was the intent that you had spoke of at the luncheon that you shared with all of us.
We have yet to be able to arrange meetings with Foster or Andros.
Keaton.
And Keaton is unfortunately unavailable.
Keaton is unavailable. How interesting. And you seem to be...
I'm sure you already knew.
He just, he gives you a smile that kind of gives away nothing.
But confirms everything?
Yes, exactly. Did your conversation with Lord Weston go well for you then today?
I'm sure you already know far more about it than that. I'm sure you already know exactly how it went, Mr. Falco.
Yes, Lord Weston did mention that he had already sent word to all the houses regarding the
matter.
I did hear a missive was sent to the Lord Andros, or the Lady Andros, in regards to your meeting. I was unaware of what the letter said, of course.
Well, if they see fit to inform you, then they shall. Unfortunately, as this is a matter between houses, I don't believe I'm currently in a position to say.
I am giving you inspiration for getting it.
I already have inspiration, unfortunately.
I think that was the first time Gaz was like, you could go find out from your superiors.
Well, that's the thing. Anything strictly involving the Legion, he's surprisingly blunt and open about. But he knows enough that overstepping his bounds in the game might be very bad.
He's learning. He can be
Preacher again has this kind of that same smile on his face.
Beatific, I think, is the best word for that one.
Well,
yeah.
I shall allow you to go on your way. I appreciate you answering a few of my questions, and of course, if you have anything you believe would be important for the paper, I would be happy to take your quotes and statements.
It's actually been a couple days since I received the paper.
I will remedy that for you and make sure you have a subscription.
My thanks.
Question mark.
Exclamation point.
Sorry. No, with a history roll, would my character be able to know anything about what Lady Andros was or did prior to, like, at the time that my character left Grover?
You don't have to roll anything. I don't need you to roll anything. You could have easily picked this information up once you arrived in the city, and prior to she is a young woman. She probably would have only been a teenager when you left Grover.
Okay, so her father would have been, or her mother
House
would have
Andros is
been.
one of the new young houses.
Yeah.
No, she gained status because she invented the printing press herself. It is
Nice.
her invention.
Oh.
And that is how she ended up coming to power. They were nothing. They were not nobility. They were not merchants. She invented the printing press, and she had a shrewd editor who was able to parlay that into wealth and circumstance, which allowed her to buy her way into the chambers. You probably could also easily find out that the three younger houses, it is very likely that they helped each other gain a foothold in the council, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we're heading back to the Citadel to arm up, and I believe Broker had to talk with Sparks.
Yes. You return to the Citadel, and on the way, or once you arrive, Broker, what do you have to say to Sparks?
Well, first I want to apologize.
Sure.
I know that I don't know how well I'm sorry, words. I am not politically savvy like Preacher is. I'm not cunning like Tricks. I'm not economically savvy like you are. I'm not noble like Gaz. In fact, the only reason I'm in the Legion to begin with is to help my family. So to say that I am completely out of my depths, let alone fit to be Lieutenant Commander, is an understatement.
Her.
And today, let me
Okay.
finish. Gaz is probably furious right now. As am I. The only thing that I know to do is to gather information. I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to hurt that man. And I don't know how.
Things. You are very good at collecting information. So good, in fact, that several times in the Legion, when your name came up to possibly be a lieutenant commander, I asked them not for you to become a lieutenant commander because you are far too good at what you do. And putting you as a lieutenant commander puts you in a position where you are visible, which is probably the worst situation for a spy to be. I think you are very good at what you do, Broker. And I think you're a good pick as a lieutenant commander. Like, honestly, who do you else want as a lieutenant commander in this situation? Tricks? Trix will try to convert everyone. Preacher has he's very good at this, but he is tied down to his clergy. Me, I have social anxiety. I cannot be lieutenant commander. I will. Well, I could be, but let's be honest. I probably turn this into a merchant store.
Or smuggling ring.
I don't think you're out of your depths here. I think we're all out of the depths here. Maybe Preacher is the only one who isn't. But we are all learning how to do this. And about wanting to hurt that man, well, I was fantasizing while he was talking of Stealth turning into one of their mates and slit his throat from behind. It was a nice daydream. But that will cause problems for the Legion, so I just thought it was not a good idea. I think it's a great idea to leave Trix there. I don't know why everybody's such a rush. I have plenty of confidence in Trix to be a pain to everyone in there. And because we are no longer on site, I don't think that this man is going to try to hurt the orcs. That was just for show against us, not against the orcs. So if you really want to hurt him, then the best thing to do is taking away his power. Let him watch while his power slips away. And when he has nothing, then you sleep the throne. Not before. I think you are very good, Broker. You have saved me so many times. I don't have the best ideas, and you sometimes talk me down of my very bad ideas, and you are my friend, so I don't know what you have to be sorry about. Or why are you apologizing? You did nothing to require an apology.
I guess that is the problem. I am quiet.
You're a spy. You're supposed to be quiet. You're supposed not to draw attention to yourself.
I guess.
Broke.
There is one more thing I need to talk to you about.
Okay.
I'm not sure when, in between going to retrieve a document and looking after my family. Soon I'm going to meet a contact. I want you to come with me.
Okay. Of course. First, is your family here? Did you manage to find them?
You do know they're on the way.
They're on the way.
Oh, of course I can help you with that, but Broker, I'm not sure. Are you good at calligraphy? Or do you have anyone under you that's good at calligraphy?
I dabble. I can copy things.
You would know that Paige is, I mean, he's under Gaz, but he would definitely
the right hand.
Yeah, he would definitely be good at calligraphy.
Or left hand.
Yeah. You probably want to talk to Paige about that.
No, I need someone sneaky.
Okay.
I have an idea. Lord Weston can have a document if he wants to.
You want me to copy the document?
Maybe. I can make illusions on documents if I want to. And before we deliver the document, we should research what this document is about and why does he want it. If he wants the document, we can give him a copy of the document that will disappear in 10 days.
You know, as it just so happens, I do have a forgery kit.
Spark smiles, like, oh, this is going to be so fun. I haven't had this fun in such a long time. Now, do you want to keep this between us or should we tell the truth?
Let's keep it a secret for now.
Very well. So of course I'll have your back, broker, wherever you need. And are we? I'm supposing that we're speaking in a secluded space where there's
Yeah.
no one around.
Yes.
And don't worry about it, broker. And I will hug him really fiercely, and then just walking away and like, I'm sorry if that felt weird. I'm
No, it's fine.
I thought that you needed a hug, and you were my first friend, so I think that my
Who
first
the
hug should
fuck
go
are
to you.
you?
Yes, I'm 6'3" without the horns.
Okay.
I'm scaly,
Well,
so that's probably what you felt.
not that. You
Uh,
hugged someone.
Doesn't Broker know
I-
what you are?
Yeah, I
Gabe
know.
knows,
I already know.
but he has never seen me though, so
That's true. You've
Uh,
told him, but he's seen a
I
dragon.
told
Well,
he has seen a
incidentally,
dragon.
how tall is Broker?
I am about 5'8".
Well, thing is, the reason I laughed at first was she's 6'3", he's 5'8". Where would a hug put his head?
Well,
Oh,
Oh.
Sparks, here's another question. How tall are you with the hat of disguise on? What size do you make yourself look?
I look 5'8".
So you look like you're the same height as Broker, but then when he hugs you, you're actually
Yep.
6
That's
inches
why I was
taller than
laughing.
that.
I
8 shoulders.
I'm thinking. There's a conversation I need to have with Gas, probably sooner rather than later, and I would like you in that conversation. It has to be with the Dragonborn. But we have more pressure things to do, so
Well, tell him when you're ready.
of course. And I will, like, very, very shyly go away and go with the rest of the troop.
Okay. You return to the Citadel to gather Agronak and your equipment.
Do we have anyone in the Legion that's actually skilled at, that's actually like a cartographer?
I am sure you do,
Page.
yes. Page probably would be, yeah.
Alright.
That's the type of things he would do, right?
Yeah. I'll actually have Paige to start making some maps detailing, like, from the start of the Orcish expeditions all the way to encountering Thundermaw, like detailing the course of the Legion, where the battles were at, and all that good stuff. Because that's preachers, like at the council meeting, if someone demands to know why the Legion's going to get paid, I like to give them a detailed explanation ready for what exactly their money bought.
Okay.
So we're heading to the Hall of Records, or is that going to be next session?
Well, we've only been playing for 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Actually, the first thing that happens upon your arrival,
Is that the Citadel, or?
at the Citadel, is that when you enter the Citadel, uh, broker, um, your parents are there. The alley rats and your uh, the other members of your team that were sent to escort them have brought them such. Uh, they uh, they've been given comfortable accommodations, uh, and Whiskers comes up to you as you enter to inform you that your parents have been brought to the Citadel, and over the course of over the course of the night, and by dawn they had arrived. You were at the docks at that time, but they are here now.
I'll tell Whiskers. Can you take me to them?
Yes, sir. And he does. Um, he leads you into the upper halls, above ground halls, to a kind of area that's been curtained off, um, where there are bunks and accommodations for some of the refugees who have been determining whether or not they are going to join up with the Legion. But your parents have been made comfortable in this area as well. When they see you, they kind of jump up and run over, and your mother jumps up and runs over. Your father kind of stands up and smiles proudly, and your mother just hugs you and starts asking you how you've been. We thought you were dead, and just like crying and just overwhelmed to actually see you. Your father looks over and says, We kept... We were receiving your... we were still receiving your stipend until the council determined that the Legion was likely lost, and then the treasury was cut off, from what we understood, and we're just happy you're home, son.
Thanks, Dad. How is everything? Are you guys okay? Are you safe at least? Are you
I think we are
eating?
now. We've been able to rub a few coppers together. Your mother had to start working outside the home, but we managed to get by. My small library was repossessed by the city. I couldn't afford to continue to pay the mortgage on it.
After hearing that, Broker will kind of get a little depressed at that.
I found work at a bookstore. It doesn't pay much, but again, it was enough for your mother and I.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the books in there helped me out a lot.
Well, we did teach you to read at an early age. Important, you know.
Yeah.
What's all this? I was told you are Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah. Just somehow.
You have a good head. You are always smart.
Well, in a few days, we should be getting some money.
You don't need to support us. How long are we going to be remaining here? Are we in that grave danger?
I kind of turn over to. Is it just me, or is it just?
If I heard the message, I probably would have followed you.
Would
If
you
you,
kind of stay back while this happens?
yeah,
Okay. So
I'm probably inside check.
Sparks is standing off a ways, but followed you into the building.
Oh, okay. Then
If I see you looking back and doubting, I will intervene and say, "Hi, I'm Sparks. I work with your son. It's nice to meet you. I'm sorry that we have to bring you here, but yes, things are a little bit dicey around here, and I think it's better for everyone, especially Broker, if you remain here for the foreseeable future."
He kind of looks at you seriously and nods. We've heard rumors that violence could erupt in the city, but everybody's been speaking of talks of war since the king's death, so we didn't. But you're here now.
yes, Dad, if I get you the money, will you be all right? No, not even asking. You're taking the money.
All right, all right. I mean, as a lieutenant commander, a week's worth of your pay is probably what I make in 3 years.
After hearing that, like, wait, really?
I mean,
Yeah,
most people make like
A gold or two a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the average Joe worker, yeah, they live off they live. Yeah, I think it'd be like 2 gold a week would be a comfortable lifestyle.
Yeah, modest would probably only be one.
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to look, but that's about right.
There's a reason the copper tends to be is still in circulation in this setting.
And I'll turn back to him. Well, that's great. You can get a house. You can hopefully get the library back. You can pay off some debts. Get some. It's great.
Yeah, a modest lifestyle is 1 gold a week. So
Yeah.
if
Oh, that was to my dad.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's just like out of character. I'm just letting you know.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
If you gave them like 100 gold, they'd be set for like you know what I mean, a year. you know.
Right.
They
Almost 2 years
what's
of
that?
modest life.
Yeah,
It
at a
would get them
modest.
almost.
Yeah. You could with like a couple thousand gold, they could retire. um he your father nods and says uh crap. That was the worst time to close my notes. um he kind of smiles and nods, and like places a hand kind of like on your shoulder, like halfway kind of around the back of your neck, and just kind of looks in the eye and says, "You're a good boy, Grixis."
That's your name? Grixis?
Yeah.
You never told me. Sorry, family matter. Let's go back.
Thank you.
You don't. Oh,
Um,
Legion protocol, I guess. We heard rumor, or the stories tell, that the Legion have their own names.
Yes, I go by Broker.
Broker. Appropriate.
Kind of give him a smile. And Sparks, could you give us a minute?
Of course, I'll be bringing something for you to eat. Do you have anything that you prefer? I will go quickly to the kitchens.
His mother turns to you and says, "Anything's fine, dear. Thank you so much. You're kind."
I'll bring you something nice, and I'll be back later. And she will just go and try to prepare something for them to eat.
Uh, when Sparks leaves, your father turns to you and smiles and says, "Well, she's a nice girl. She's another officer."
Yep. Captain.
Why I get the impression of Sparks is like the girlfriend meeting her boyfriend's parents for the first time.
That is definitely what your father is implying with that question. You don't need to make an insight check.
Oh. Let me.
She seems like
Make
a
that
nice
insight.
girl.
No, you don't need to make an insight check. It's obvious.
Never mind. Never mind then. Th- no, Dad, Captain.
Oh, don't they allow that sort of thing in the Legion? He just...
Captain.
He just kind of like nods along. All right, all right. I
To
mean,
give the son a talk later about girls.
probably not.
He went. He started working at the age of 10. I'm pretty sure. Like all of that's just gonna go over his head.
So Sparks gives you a moment, and goes and gets food, and you have some time alone with your parents.
I'll actually. So, you know what? I'll just send them. I'll cast sending, and just send a message to Lucash, saying that we just got a new mission at the archives, but the commander and the other officers, including myself, are going to be meeting you there.
You get a response from Lukash that says, all right, that's good. We were set to return. We found everything you needed.
Jewelry, or
You want us to stay and wait for you then?
No, just come back.
All right.
They've been there enough time that they can head back and get a rest.
Okay.
And I'll relay that to Commander.
The a couple of things of note, and I think we will handle the archives next session, because I was certainly not prepared for you guys to go down there. I did not know what Steven had up his sleeve.
you meant you didn't think that any one of us would get imprisoned?
I didn't think one of you would be imprisoned. Well, no, that's not true. I kind of knew what his plan was with that, but I didn't know that his plan was to send you to the archives until, like...
That his aim was the archives.
What's that?
That his aim was at the archives.
Yes, correct. So I have no map or anything, which I would like to get ready, rather than just flying by the seat of my pants, to be honest.
The problem is, at this point, Gaz is kind of wanting to put a hurt on something.
Oh, I'm sure. But I'm not saying that that much time will pass. It'll be the same day, right? I just think it'll be the next session that we will actually go to the archives.
But that's why I'm saying, like, that's why we didn't just hand it off to Lukash's group.
Yeah, absolutely. Gaz wants to go himself. He wants to find some undead, and he wants to make them hurt.
Non-sentient undead. Or some sort of beast that can't be reasoned with, etc.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, even if it was a beast that could be reasoned with, he wouldn't hurt it. He would try his best to calm it down, and then he'd feel good. Okay, I did a good thing.
Yeah.
Rather than standing by helplessly as two half-orcs get whipped 200 fucking times.
The only other thing I'll say is that Sparks... today is likely the last day to meet with Captain Card before he sets sail. So after the archives, either before or after the archives, you will need to have that meeting. It is still early enough in the day, right? You had breakfast at dawn aboard Weston's ship, so it is still before noon. If you can get whatever you need to get from the archives in a few hours, then... perhaps you'll still be able to make dinner with Card. Perhaps not. But I hate to do this, but I think we're going to end it at the 3-hour mark today, and we'll pick it up next week. Why don't we do some affirmations and spend some time talking about where you guys stand with the different houses. Commander, what was your favorite Gaz moment today, Stu?
Probably either the attempt to goad the junior officer into making that first blow because he could see exactly where that was going. Or, and this is more likely, his trying to reach out to the two half-orcs and then actually healing them after they've been abused.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciated the healing moment. That was a really great Gaz moment.
And I'll admit, I didn't even consider the whole magical thing, and then it occurred to me, like after you pointed out, wait a minute, yeah, that isn't magic, that's just supernatural.
It is prayer in action, my friend. It's the only time that hopes and prayers actually work. Lay on hands.
I'm a little mad at how accurate that is.
Other Gaz moments around the table? Favorite Gaz moments?
Just being really composed.
Again, wishing to fight the dragon instead of being in the city.
Right.
Oh, that reminds me. There is one other thing that happens before we go, and
Oh.
I'll actually end it on this note. Um, one of the officers rushes up from below the citadel, and comes to. Uh, it goes right up to the commander. Um, he seems out of breath, like he ran up all of the stories below to get up here. And he runs up to you and says, "Commander, I came from the bottom level. I was told to inform you. Something's pulsing in that room. The one that's sealed. Down at the cove."
I'm trying to think what was behind the sealed room door down there.
The staff.
Oh boy.
Oh, shit.
And I'll end it on that, actually.
Cliffhanger. And I know I got a couple of inspiration points during the session. I'm trying to remember what precisely they were for.
I really loved Gaz's lay on hands. Any other Gaz moments around the table for tonight?
Love
I was gonna say
Handle
the
Weston.
yeah, just the general, like, seeing him keep his cool and play the game, even when it was like truly testing everything inside him, was very cool.
David said when Preacher warned him not to act in anger, and Gaz just made it clear he was only going to the Hall of Records because he wanted one of his officers to be in Lord Weston's custody for not 1 second longer than strictly necessary. And he said he was generally very diplomatic and patient with Lord Weston's goading and faux civility. So that moment to just recenter that Gaz's loyalty to the soldiers under his command is his primary driving force. That's what David had to say.
Nice sketch.
God damn it, Adam.
Well, he's no longer part of our world, though.
Oh, God. That's amazing.
I had that idea for a really long time.
So you using acid droplets to just etch that into the floorboards or something?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, I think other Gaz moments included just some of your comments to Lord Weston throughout. Of course, your composure is one of the big ones that was mentioned. Gaz's healing and his like words to calm the other half orcs, and I think just your that point where Gaz is starting to actually kind of follow Preacher's advice while still being Gaz. I don't know how else to put it.
A little easier with someone like Weston, where they're not remotely welcoming, and it's basically an enemy on the battlefield without actually being on the battlefield.
Yep. Oh, David said he also loved your deadpan response to Lord Weston's opening gambit.
Again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the sea breeze. I forgot about that one. But actually, come to think of it, honestly, one of the things that I kind of liked was the stone-faced demeanor. Like, that's an aspect of Gaz that has not come up.
It
Or
hasn't.
has reason to come up. Like, even in battle, he tended to be rather talkative.
Well, yeah, he's always persuading the enemy or cowing them, and using his charisma, wielding his charisma as well as his blade. And here he just like went completely cold. I think that is the first time we've seen Gaz do that. I think maybe the only other time that we've seen that is when Broker was ordered to slit the throat of the assassin.
Yep. I think that actually is the last time that happened.
Yeah. John, favorite broker moment tonight? Broker John.
Yeah.
So one, seeing my parents. Because I mean, because broker inspiration is just to give his family the money from being in the Legion. So just seeing them finally making sure that they're safe is always good. Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite part.
Sweet.
I like that you, because you basically are a very quiet character that tries to see basically everyone and not trying to be noticeable, that you actually lost control with Weston and basically just told him what you thought about him. And yeah, I really like that because it shows a little bit more that there's more behind you than it actually usually shows.
Yeah. I really.
I'd say
Oh, go ahead.
the conversation with Sparks where you kind of confided that you genuinely felt out of your element as lieutenant commander.
Yeah. David said the same thing, and also like the conversation with Sparks after you got off the ship, making it clear that that she is a valued member of the commanders, you know, of the captains. Kind of talking about how like each of the captains fit into their positions, you know. I think one of my favorite broker moments was him just telling Lord Weston to cut the bullshit. I really like. He just got down to. He's like, let's stop mincing words. Tell us what you want. Yeah,
Even if it earned a reprimand from Preacher.
yeah,
I just really liked that conversation between Sparks and Broker. That was really great.
Yeah,
Both their role playings there. That was fantastic.
yeah.
yeah, I second that.
Uh, so Dio, your favorite Sparks moment tonight?
Confessing to Broker what she was thinking while she was on the ship, because I was thinking, should I roll stealth and just become one of the mates and just take the dagger that's under there and just slit the throat of this dude? Like, should I try to do that? Will Sparks do that? Sparks will think about it. She won't do it. Damn it, Sparks.
That's exactly what David's favorite moment was too. Other Sparks moments? Again, obviously, the conversation between the two of them was.
Yep, that'd be mine.
Yep.
Although I'll admit, like, especially when she mentioned the 6'3", that's why I immediately started laughing because it's like, wait a minute, how tall is Broker again? Completely inappropriate, but that was the first thing that popped in my mind. It's like, oh,
Get your
especially when in the disguise you're the same height as him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wait, how does that work?
The hat of disguise makes you appear to be can make you
Either-
appear to be either a little taller or a little shorter than you are, as long as you're still like, if you're a medium-sized creature, you still need to look like a medium-sized like bipedal creature. But
I would assume you probably didn't get a great look at her because she was actively hugging you at the moment, but I think the way that would work would be that the illusion would become transparent for a moment because you interacted with it.
yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. So then, like, how does that work with things like chairs and stuff?
I mean, when she's
Conscience.
yeah,
The chair knows she's sitting on it.
I mean, people looking at her will just see what the illusion makes them see.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And since you're interacting with her, you saw it, but someone, like if your parents saw that happen, they'd just see you hugging someone your height.
Yeah, but if you went through like a 6-foot tall doorway and it looks like she would be able to walk through, like she would have to duck to get through, or else she would bump her head above her head. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if she didn't, and if she ducks, people would look at her and be like, "Why are you ducking? Like, you clearly make it under this door." Yeah. So,
Okay.
so yeah. Adam, you've been trying to say something for like 10 minutes. I'm sorry.
I just had. I guess I had a weird look on my face. No, I was not trying to say anything.
Oh, okay. Any other?
Sorry.
Any other favorite
My
Sparks
face
moments?
is just dumb like that.
I think you were working on a sketch, maybe.
No, I already put all the sketch stuff away.
And
Yeah. Any other favorite Sparks moments tonight?
got another one in the chat.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to come break you out of? Oh yeah, the conversation with Trix below deck was fantastic.
Yeah, I think Gaz was, like I said, Gaz was probably for the best not within earshot at that point, because if he'd heard the barnacles thing, like he might have suspected that was Trix maybe, but he probably would have been a little, like he would have misdirected his anger in a similar manner as Weston did.
Mm-hmm. Adam, your favorite Trix moment tonight?
I just really I enjoyed the whole Trix feeling like he was in control while he was being captured. He really didn't ever lose his cool.
Y'all
that
don't
was
seem
my
to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
I'm like, oh, you don't want to take me out of my element?
Looks like that's going to be the consensus vote.
Yeah. Actually, more specifically for me, was you just like taking your manacles off and handing them to the guards nonchalantly, like, here you go.
Bringing the whale and then telling the officers like, are you sure that your faith is strong enough for whatever happens in here? And basically, if you have ever read Terry Pratchett, there's I think it's not the mayor. Well, the guy that rules Ankh-Morpork. In one of the novels, he's in jail, and they come to rescue him because the city's a mess, and he's completely unfazed. And basically, it's not that he's in jail; is that basically everybody else is in jail, not him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the exact same feeling I got with Trix. And I don't think anything that Weston can do can be worse for Trix than being stuck in the desert for so many years.
To stone, so if he had moved me to a stone prison, I also still wasn't trapped.
I think that Trix probably has a lot of tricks up his sleeve for getting out of places after spending lots of years in prison.
Yeah, it's also his first time behind bars, so he's just like, eh.
I'm fine. This is fine.
And actually, like the instigating incident that caused that entire cascading mess, because that was just him trying to back up the commander.
Yep. He's like, here, this is what the commander would do to you if you fought him. You don't want to do that.
I think it's more alliterative than just saying it.
Yeah. Illustrating it in silent image.
Just as an aside, if I can, I'd like to get some sharks to circle around his ship while I'm in there.
Sure.
Okay.
Are you naming them kindness?
No,
And
I
mercy.
just want everyone who's going from that ship to see that it's surrounded by sharks.
Oh yeah, there are constantly sharks swimming in and out of the docks right around that ship now.
I figured it'd be the one from the meme channel.
I haven't seen it yet.
The Shark Family.
John, your favorite preacher moment?
Starting to get it. He's finally starting to get it.
That's what I was gonna say. The whole so proud of the commander for finally starting to get it.
Yeah. Just beaming with pride. I really enjoyed that you literally picked up on everything Weston was doing before you ever had to make any kind of roll. You, John, picked up on every one of Steven's plots without him, without even making a roll, and I genuinely enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was good.
I think it was probably, well, related to the meeting, is him desperately trying to get things back on track after the trick stuff. Because at that point, he was about the only one actually trying to reason with Weston. All the rest of us are just like, okay, enough with this horse shit.
David in chat said, Preacher asking Lord Weston his opinion of Lady Benton's liberal attitudes, and also siding with him by pointing out that her safety is only guaranteed by the Navy under House Weston's commands. It just really shows Preacher's experience with the game.
And honestly, I saw that as him trying to play one against the other, which would still be the same thing.
Still the same thing.
Also, that Preacher was able to calm down Gas and just bringing him down and show, like, yeah, he's messing with your head because he's expecting you to go in rage because that's what he's expecting.
As well as appealing to the, yeah, that's what he wants you to do as a half-orc. He sees you as less than human already.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. John, I've really appreciated the way you play Preacher over these weeks. You have slid well into the character. Same thing with, like, I there's always a transition period when you add, especially with the number of rotations of players that we've had early on in this campaign. When you add 2 brand new players to the party, it takes a little bit for the party to kind of adjust. And I feel like, I don't want to say necessarily this specific session, but definitely saw it very clearly that everybody's starting to fill their niche and like fall into their characters and more, and like the interactions were solid. I really appreciate. I love Trix as a character. I love Preacher as a character, and they're coming into their own every week, and I really enjoy the way they're being played. So that's just a general really enjoying the characters.
To be fair, Mark, though, really looking forward to getting some combat.
Next week, I promise you will get some more combat. You've had a lot of meetings, right? But things are going to happen fast. I'm going to say next session will probably be the archives or dealing with the staff or both. And
unfortunately, Trix won't be there. Yeah, unless we go to the archives first, Trix won't be there.
We'll see. Well, yeah, we'll see how that works.
Presumably.
We'll see how that works.
Is today, not today, today in game going to be the day that Silver gets the message?
Silver got one message from Mirth, but it was just pleasantries, and he responded back about that. But tomorrow in game on the 17th will be the day that he gets the message from Mirth saying, my team and I are asking. Mirth is gonna be asking Silver about Phoenix Fire, and tomorrow in game time. So, yeah.
When is in game time the next council meeting?
Go ahead.
I think 13 days?
Yes. It is the beginning.
Start of each month.
It's the start of each month, so Yeah, I will let you know when that happens.
All right. I was just curious. Thank you.
Murder Lord Weston after Trick sinks his ship. Thank you, David.
Honestly, all I can think there is that would paint a target right on the Legion, though.
Yeah,
Um,
because you're willing to go after one Lord of the House, no one else is going to feel safe.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if they find out,
Well, no, thing is, Trix has been very blatant about, yeah, you keep me here for any longer than X amount of time, I'm going to fuck shit up. You
So
cannot hold me,
Drag.
etc.
My original plan was only to drag everyone to an eldritch horror that my patron wants me to deal with. I figured if we took a battleship there, we'd definitely deal with it easily.
And possibly get him to free you so that you could use magic against the creature.
I mean, he would have gotten some glory for it. I would have
Yep.
appeased my patron. It was a win-win for me if we'd gotten there.
I'm surprised you just didn't have the whale just go behind the ship and just start pushing it.
That's what I
didn't
was
want to
thinking,
press
too.
I didn't want to press the issue.
I'm surprised you didn't say I didn't want to push the issue. That would have been right up your alley.
But
Okay.
yeah, Gaz is definitely wanting to take out his frustrations somehow.
David in chat has been on a just going off all night. All night.
Yeah, Weston was a loathsome individual.
He was.
Actually, I told Stephen while we were on break that I couldn't believe that he made me miss Michael.
Yeah, David said the same thing. Okay, guys. Any DM moments stand out tonight? I didn't do a lot. Steven kind of stole the show. So
Letting him have the freedom to do so. Kudos.
Yeah.
he's one of the people who I would trust with that. So well,
Yeah, I think it was mostly just keeping the ship righted, I think was what you handled tonight, and I think that was a great job of doing so.
thank you. Yes, Lord Weston was insufferable, and I knew that was coming. I knew it.
David, I'm waiting for your take on this when you make the nights after dark to see how are you going to explain this mess.
I will also tell you, out of character, that since Maximilian has taken the name Weston, Stephen has been sending him Lord Weston has been sending him letters via Stephen to get him to come to Grovair. You would have two insufferable people in the Weston household to deal with if that happens.
Oh, I know. When he received the letter on Wednesday on the Wednesday game, I was like, part of me was like, yes, the Dance of Macabre can come to Grover, and the other part of me was like, no, Johnny and Stephen together against us. No.
Anyway, if you guys don't it's hard to keep up with everything that goes on in Oregon. It's hard to keep up with everything that goes on in our streams. So if you want to play catch up, if you want to find out about what's going on in the other streams, Dark Dreamer is doing a holy cow. Alex just hosted us with 10 people. What up? Thank you for the follow. Oh man, getting followers and everything. David has been doing like a Nights After Dark on Tuesdays, starting last week. Last week was kind of a big recap episode of everything that's been going on in all the campaigns up until this point. Thank you for the raid. But this week, tomorrow, it's going to be the last recap, which is the Saturday game, and then I think it's just going to be like short recaps of each of the games throughout the week. So please check that out if you're interested. Yeah, we're wrapping up a little bit early because we got thrown for a loop by none other than Steven. But we'll be raiding.
Oh man,
We'll be raiding
people
other
showed
people
up
as
in
well.
hordes.
What's that?
People showed up in droves all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just got raided by 10 people. So yeah. Guys, what are your thoughts on the houses so far? Why don't we talk about that real quick before we go for a raid?
Yeah, funny enough, I was just doing a house accounting in the general chat. In my estimation, Carmichael A, Dolan B minus, Keaton F because they completely refused to meet with us unless we help them
Yeah.
obliterate part of the city.
I was gonna
Andros
say,
C, Foster C. We haven't met either one. Weston F, infinity negative.
Benton D minus.
Adam, what are you saying?
I feel like Keaton's trying to take this test past fail.
Anybody want to tell the people who just joined us what House Weston was like tonight?
He's a Z minus.
No, Weston is minus negative. Not even our alphabet. I probably will pick another alphabet just to.
Did not finish.
Yes.
But as for the why of it,
Mike,
they brought us out into the bay so that they would have purview over anything that happened aboard the ship, legally speaking.
Proceeded to antagonize us to the point of making someone cast just an illusion spell.
Well, in terms of getting just a reaction, they were probably hoping for me to maybe throw a punch, but instead they got Trix to cast a spell, which was just the illusion spell. What was it, Silent Image?
a couple of times.
Yeah. And after that, they then threw him in the brig, saying that because the event happened at sea, he had purview over it, and legally speaking, he does. So he can literally put him to death for casting illusion. After which, Trix did a couple of tricky things. Can we elaborate on what they were?
Go for it.
Well, currently I've covered his giant buxom masthead and barnacles. I had a whale drag us several miles out to sea. I have sharks swimming around the dock where we're docked. I've thought about just having crabs just invade the ship. I'm really just trying to get
sailors.
Yeah, I'm really just trying to get Weston to show back up at this point.
But the reason why he was so loathsome is that after the masthead had gotten covered in barnacles, he brought out a couple of half-orc servants and proceeded to whip them for not cleaning it properly enough. When we objected, he added 50 lashes for each objection, to the point that it was 200 lashes for each one, and even his own sailors were visibly uncomfortable with it.
They were. So yeah, Steven. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when I find out about that, I'm definitely going to be regretful that happened to them. Trix is not going to like that, but right now I have no idea, and no one told me when you came down.
Yep.
So I just don't know yet.
So yeah, for those of you who don't know our player Steven, who plays in our Saturday group, he has played some of the most controversial characters that we've had in our games. Often, he plays the type of characters who everyone loves to hate, and that was no different tonight. He probably played his most hateful character of all as a guest star, as one of the noble houses in this city that is on the brink of civil war. David is consoling you, Trix, that it was not your fault, that it was precipitated by your actions, but it was Lord Weston's decision to inflict that upon them.
And when Gaz even tried pointing out that it was spotless when we left port, so how the hell could they have done anything to clean it better?
Yep.
That's when he added another 50 lashes.
Yep. Right bastard.
It's okay. That's going to be ongoing forever now.
All right. Well,
Barnacles eating gold forever.
thanks for playing tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for all the new followers that we got today. It was a fun session. It was. I hate that we're cutting it short, but I don't want to go into. Steven threw me for some loops that I did not expect, and I just kind of want to make sure that we go forward with something that is well done and not thrown together on the fly for this next bit. And yes, Trix will get his revenge. The Dreamer is coming for House Weston at some point.
I mean, I'll just settle for converting his crew. That's fine.
Honestly, that would be nice, considering that they were visibly just uncomfortable with Weston's punishment of the servant.
Some of them were, yes, absolutely. There is such a thing as going too far. All right, guys. We're gonna look for a raid. So we'll take Big Lundy and his raiders along with us to another channel. If you want to hang out, we'll go to the ending screen and you can watch the fiery flurries flash across the screen. And we will see you next week on A Company of Fools. Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.